So I had a topic that's a bit challenging, and so presenting was also good for me to kind of gather my thoughts as well, but how to form and successfully run a joint venture from the legal perspective. So how can the legal people really make the most of it? And what I was trying to convey especially was, it's all about confirming with your business team what the possible scenarios are for what they're expecting. The legal job often is just to take those things and lock them in and make sure they happen, but the fact is you play a bigger role than that. So I was conveying that the first 100 days is quite important, how you handle the jurisdiction is quite important. There's a lot of focus on exit clauses and how to get out of those kind of relationships. However, quite often it winds up being a long-term relationship, so those remain just kind of tools in your toolbox. So what I liked was in the audience we had, that as I gave out a few questions, people also kind of broadened my view of what a joint venture could be. So I had my view from the manufacturing business of what it could be, or the electronics business what it could be, but I had pharmaceutical professionals, finance professionals, other people talking about how they use joint ventures. And so that expanded my view a bit about what it could be or how to structure it. They just applied my ideas more broadly, I thought. So I thought similarities, but the difference is, I guess, that they were looking at more complex structure, and so then in the financial world you'd set something up a certain way for maybe say tax benefits or to achieve different objectives, have different investors. And so they look at when they say joint venture, they say the joint venture could have several layers of joint ventures even beneath that. Or other companies where a joint venture is never an entity, it's just merely a contractual relationship, and so you're managing on a much lighter basis what you're trying to achieve. But nonetheless, there's a lot of commonality in what we're experiencing, and you add to that, different countries, different legal regimes, different business purposes, and it's quite a plethora of what you can achieve. So it's really helpful to me too to hear some feedback on that. I guess so. After the lecture, people were kind of discussing me with even the title of, so you're trying to take a joint venture and drive its success further, when quite often you're actually covering a lot of downside risk in that it doesn't go well, or the other party is not cooperative, or it requires more finance, or many other things that can happen. Maybe even try to dissolve it, and it takes you several years to dissolve something. So some people were joking about kind of the fear of joint ventures might have been my topic, because again, the big decision of forming this relationship 50-50, let's say, with someone in a foreign country, they have their goals, you have your goals, can you really control it or not? And so I spent a little bit of time talking about selection of partner, vetting your partner well, benchmarking well, looking outside your own paradigm of business to kind of learn from others. And again, folks kind of aligned with that well. They're saying that their experience too, everything's about the partner, about communication, about clarity in the beginning. A nice idea that I heard at the table was someone said, how about that the joint venture has its own vision and mission of what it's trying to achieve, because we can't agree, what is the ultimate purpose and state that clearly. Maybe the business people haven't talked enough. So again, there's a good idea as I was hearing about treating it like a normal company, because there's always that one layer you stand behind it to say, well, end of the day, I'm only 50%. This is not entirely mine, so you don't act like it's yours.